Who thought this would happen? None of us thought this would happen. They'd live together. They might get married in a registry office. They might just carry on as they are. But nobody thought they would get married in church. Nobody thought it would happen. There was a lot of opposition to it. A lot of people didn't think it should happen. In fact, one of the most notable and high-profile opposition to it is Cardinal Keith O'Brien. Slight different flavour of Christianity, but let's face it, we've already had the Pope in the church today. But why is he against this marriage? I am, of course, talking about gays being married in church. Now, it's the hot topic of the day. Now, in no way am I questioning the beautiful, blushing bride's sexuality. Let's face it. Sorry. What I'm talking about is Andy here. Andy Clements, fireman, waterboarder, handyman, builder. He is every member of the village people rolled into one. Isn't he? Yeah. Right. He's just a wee bit confused, I think. But now, fortunately, he knows what way he's going in life. He's not confused anymore. Andy Clements. He gets up in the morning, he gets up out of his Swedish bed made from IKEA. He puts on his American Levi jeans, drinks a strong cup of Italian roast coffee, and then he either jumps into his Swedish Volvo car or onto his Japanese quad bike, and then he'll tootle about the place, and he likes French wine, Spanish wine at night, Irish cider. He even wanted to go on his stag to drink Northern Irish whiskey.
Yes!
Andy, who's sitting looking resplendent in his Scottish kilt. Andrew Campbell Clements, born Bowden, Cheshire. Confused? Is that music I can hear? Anyway. In this beautiful Diamond Jubilee year, Andy asked me to be his best man, and it's a tremendous honour. It's almost like being asked to sleep with the Queen. It's a tremendous honour, but no one wants to do it. Why is him asking me to be his best man? I was the 48th person he asked. He'd asked everyone else in the island and they all turned him down. But there was no way I was going to turn him down because business is bad for me just now. Business is very bad for me just now. And when I looked at Andy and Jane and I thought, they asked me to be best man, this is fucking comedy gold. Their dysfunctional background of family and friends. And I do include myself in that. This was going to be comedy gold. I had my speech there and then. And then later on that night, over a few glasses of wine, he dropped the bombshell. He says, right, obviously, you can't mention that. And obviously, that you can't mention that. That's a no-brainer, you can't mention that. And I'd rather you didn't talk about, you know, that. I was screwed. That was my speech. Blown out the water. No speech. I didn't have a speech last week. Even when I drove up here on Wednesday, no speech. Last night, no speech. Was I worried? Not a jot. Because I knew I would get some help. Now, how did I have such an unshakable faith? Well, 6 years I was a Sunday school teacher. For 6 years, I had an unshakable faith that was going to be some divine intervention. And I'll tell you why I knew that. Whatever, she was late anyway. 20 to 3, Jane Rennie walked into church. And later on, she walked out Jane Clements. In the history of the church, the initials JC have got a special resonance. And I knew there would be some divine intervention. Sure enough, I got it. It didn't come when I thought it was going to come. Because last night we went to bed, still didn't have a speech. So we went to bed and Andy and I cuddled up. Again, fell asleep in each other's arms, you know, and stroking each other, my breath in his ear. And still with no speech. We fell into a deep sleep. Very comfortable. Fell into a deep sleep. And I get a visit in the middle of the night. Not the kind of visit you're thinking of. In a kind of Dickensian twist, I was visited by two angel ghostly apparitions. I was visited, first of all, by the angel ghost of the Clements-Rennie relationship past, and I was visited by the angel ghost of the Clements marriage future. So, I don't have a speech for you. All I've got is what they showed me on this journey. Call it the gospel according to Greg, if you will. Well, it seems we're on a churchy gig just now. So, in a jiffy time, bang, was back in 1986. I saw Andy Clements come up to Campbelltown. This is what the apparition showed me. We were kind of hovering above. Bad haircut he had. He comes up to visit his sister Sally, who sadly can't be here. Sally, this is for you, baby. He comes up to visit Sally, who's working up here, and he likes it. He likes Campbelltown, and he says to Sally, "Do you know, I might move up here." See everyone in the face, they think I'm something I'm not, they really do. And I just got a golden stash, I don't know what they think I am. I might move up here, because you know I've got no baggage if I move up here. So Sally said, "Yeah, on you go, big man, come on, move up, you'll love it." But Jimmy's accent a bit. So he did. So we moved up, and my apparition angel guide kind of flew us through, you know, the next 16 years, stopping in particular bits. She showed me Andy starting in the Beachcomber Hotel in Campbelltown. Then he went to work at WFM Builders. I think that's a radio station. Welcome to WFM. This one's especially for Andy Clements. Anyway, starts working in WFM Builders, where he meets Andy. And Andy, being a gregarious, friendly, sharing, caring Rennie, as all Rennies are. Come on round to my house, you know, eat my food, come on, take my hospitality, take my sister. Same, why don't I? So, after the Builders, he went to work for Strathclyde Roads. But when Jane and Andy first met, and this is a kind of wee serious bit, they did meet at a fundraiser for Dunblane, and as tragic as Dunblane was, isn't it beautiful that something can blossom out of such tragedy? It's fantastic. Anyway, moving on. It was a wee kind of difficult relationship at first. Not a lot of people were very happy on it. Some people didn't want it to happen, so it was a wee clandestine relationship. And there was one weekend that Andy and Jane went AWOL. They disappeared. Nobody knew where they were. They were staying at Davy's house. Nobody knew where they were. They were very nearly, Anne was getting phoned all the time, and the police were nearly getting called out. But as my ghostly apparition, we kind of hovered above. It was beautiful to see. This was the start of kind of John and Yoko loving. And they just stayed in bed for the whole weekend, having a laugh, doing what couples do. Fresh relationship, was bursting out with energy and passion and everything. This wasn't a pre-planned thing. There was no oysters, there was no chocolates, there was no flowers, there was no candles. All I had to eat was crisps the whole weekend. She's wondering how I know all this. All I had to eat was crisps the whole weekend. And Andy, when he went to buy the crisps, he knew he was going to be holed up. He went to the shops and he bought a love box of crisps, it was called. It was a special promotion that we're doing. How about a wee game? I'll put one of these crisp flavoured condoms on, and you see if you can guess what flavour it is. Great idea, Jane says. Disappears. 5 minutes later, she comes up and she goes, "Cheese and onion." He says, "Hold on, I've got them to pack it yet." their own selves. So, so just after that, we moved on in time. I saw him very quickly move over to Gigha. He was working the farm for Jock. And then they set up home in Highfield, and they're blessed with 2 wonderful children. Then they give these 2 kids up for adoption, and then have anyway, my guide stopped me at a time. This was, I think it was roughly about 2002. And everyone who's in a relationship knows it's not all sweetness and light and crisps and relationships are always a roller coaster. And as much as when they're blessed with the kids and it's great and they set up the home, it's brilliant. But the reality is in relationships, sometimes it's really tough. And we all know that. And we stopped at a time in 2002 and Andy and Jane were having problems. They were working their nuts off all the time. They've got 2 young kids who aren't sleeping well during the night. They're in Highfield. The heating's buggered in Highfield. It's closed. They're both working. Oh God, they're both working 14-hour days. Don't get used to doing 14-hour days. Pushes a wee more around. And we stopped over, and they're not talking. They're not making time for each other. And I see Andy lying in bed reading his book. Jane shuffles into bed. Because there's no heating, she's got on thermals, she's got pyjamas, and she's got a Goonie house coat on. So she gets into bed. Is this what life brought me? Is this all I've got? And Andy's lying there, his book, doesn't even acknowledge her, she gets into bed. And then he puts a wee hand out, he slips it inside her Goonie, inside her pyjamas, and down inside her thermals. There's a spark in their relationship, so she just takes off all her clothes, jumps back into bed, and Andy says, well, what's going on? She said, well, I thought, you were maybe looking to rekindle some love in her life. He says, no, I just want to moisten my fingers to turn the pages. Isn't it sad how our relationship can change? You might think it's funny, I personally find things sad. And I turned to my guide and I said, how did we get from the sadness and the pathetic situation there to this beautiful day where there's love all around for the marriage? And my guide said, just watch a minute. Enter, stage left, my big sister. My big sister, Jane Armour, very important person. Hi, Jane Armour, Director, Eagle Orchid, Scotland's premier business consultancy and ace financial strategist. That's my big sister. Some people might say Jane Armour, interfering, pushing pain. And together with Auntie Tricia and Dan, my sister's like a dog with a bone. Why do you get married? Why do you get married? Why do you get married? It'd be great to get married. Why do you get married? Oh, you should get married. Oh, you should get married. Oh, you don't get married. Oh, you should get married. And Andy as well. Tricia's like, oh, you said it yet? So, I think just now, very quickly, we'll have a wee toast to the 3 of them. Because to Tricia, Jane and Anne, if it wasn't for the 3 of them, we wouldn't be sitting. And if I could also just make another toast, because we're in a kind of churchy, godly thing, and Jane's second daughter and my beautiful, gorgeous niece isn't here, but do you know what? She's very holy. I can explain that joke to you. You shouldn't really put in jokes into a speech, but I'll explain that to you later. Anyway, so then we come back to the present, and I thought, oh, great. And then this next angel guide takes me into the future. And we go 40 years from now to 2052. And Andy and Jane are still a couple. So isn't it great that they've got a long life? This is a sad thing, what I'm going to tell you now. And it won't surprise us. We're up in Balmore. They're up in Balmore. Pouring the founds. Okay? It won't really surprise you. The road has just been finished the week before and they're pouring the founds. And I'm afraid to say there's a tragic accident I see two scenarios that this angel shows me. And the first one is Jane unfortunately dies in a tragic accident when the cement mixer that's pouring the fountains falls on top of her when she's inside the fountains and kills her dead. It's very sad.
That's sad.
But I have a beautiful funeral. I'm still doing the foods. It's just sausage rolls though. So, very sad. Andy's, what age are you then? 85, and he can't look after himself, and he has to be put into a home. Unfortunately, Brandon and Amanda, they've flown the nest, they've left home. Amanda has travelled the world. I'm sure you all remember Hercules and Andy Robbins. Well, Amanda's beautiful good looks. She's travelling the world fighting with this grizzly bear, making a fortune. And Brandon has fronted an ABBA tribute band and been a worldwide. He's fathered 37 kids. What is it? I don't know, I always get it mixed up. He's either got the looks of a Remy and the appetite of a Clements. The looks of a Clements and the appetite of a Clements. He's been prolific. And he can't stay at home to look after his dad because he's travelling the world, because it's a bloody birthday for his kids every day. So, unfortunately, Andy has to get put into an old folks' home because he can't look after him. And he's devastated. This once proud man having to go out for someone to wipe his bum. Devastated. So he goes down to the day room and he looks around the first day in this day room and he sees all these old crinkly people sitting, staring out the window. Is this what I've come to? And he goes up to the first wee old deer that's sitting there and he kicks her. And he says, "Hey, what age do you think I am?" She looks him up and down and says, "Who snorted there?" "You're 72. He says, "No, I know I look 72, but I'm 85. Still got my moustache, still got all my teeth." "Oh, that's very good, son. You look great on it." It's up to the next wifey. "Excuse me, missus. What age do you think I am?" She's sitting and has to shout to her again. "What age do you think I am?" And she says, "68. You look okay." He says, "No, I'm 85. Still got all my own teeth, my own hair, and I'm here in this place." Very sad. There's another old deer, another corner of the room, looking out the window. So he goes up to her. "Oi, missus, what age do you think I am?" She looks him up and down, stares right into his eye, puts her hand out, undips his fly, puts her hand down, she strokes about. And she's staring at him right in the eye, she's stroking about, she says, "You're 85. He says, "How did you know that?" She said, "I heard you tell other birds." So then my guide takes me back to the founds, and this time Andy's in pouring the founds, and Jane strains her back, pushing the cement mixer onto him, and unfortunately he is tragically dead. And it's Jane's turn. Jane has to go into the old folks' home because again she's got a strained back, she can't look after herself, kids are all everywhere. I still did the food at the... It wasn't as good as Jane's, right enough. So Jane comes down to the day room in the old folks' home. She looks about. She's shattered. This is what it comes to. All these old guys are just looking out the window. And Jane, who's a game bird, let's face it, she's looking for a bit of action. So she goes, the second day she comes down, just in her house coat on, buck naked, 86 years old, buck naked, she comes downstairs, she goes up in front of the first guy that's sitting there. She undoes her belt, she jumps in front of him, opens it up and she goes, "Super Fanny!" The guy ignores her, carries on looking out the window. She says, "Come on, I've to get myself in shape." She was a better reaction than that. He's up to the next guy. "Super Fanny!" Ignores her again. What happened to all my women with challenge? It's worked so well in Nile Gigha. Does herself up again and she sees one other guy sitting there. Undoes her belt. "Super Fanny!" The guy looks up and says, "No, I'll just have the soup, thanks." So my guide takes me back to the next day. And I said, what was that all about? He said, well, I wanted to show you that they do live a long and very happy life together. But it is your duty, if they don't get their finger out their backside for Balmore, which is Gaelic for big house, my arse, big empty field. I'll be writing in the Gaelic dictionary asking for a change. But my guy said to me, it's up to you, and it's up to all of us in here. If we want them to have a long and happier life together, next time Bodjo's here says, I've just been on eBay, I'm going to buy a motorised skateboard. No! Go and buy a breeze block. It's up to all of us. Anyway, I need to toast the bridesmaid. I hope you've all had a great day. I must say, I am truly honoured having friends, not just in Andy, but in Jane and Brandon and Amanda. They are such a brilliant family, and so is the whole of the Gigha family. Everyone in Gigha makes you feel so welcome. But the four of them have become such firm friends to all of us, to myself, my wife and my kids, and everyone in this room. It's a pleasure to be here. It really is a tremendous honour to be his best man. And Amanda is absolutely stunning. Her singing in the church. So, I'd like to be upstanding and join me in a toast to the bridesmaids. The bridesmaids. Now, if you can just give me a couple of minutes, I'm just going to read out some cards that we've got. Right, to Mr. and Mrs. Clements. Mr. and Mrs. Clements. Alright, congratulations, Bishop. Much love, Martin and Mary. You're not meant to send a card, you're here. Have I got any more time wasters in this? Very important, I'm busy.
Supposed to read the front as well.
Oh, stand up at the front. Go. Okay. Right, okay, thanks, Anne. Right, I've shaken them already. Right, it's your wedding day. Remember, there's no need to be nervous about your first night together as a married couple. It's bound to be fantastic. Especially after all that practice you've been putting in. Congratulations, best wishes. With much love, Martin and Mary. Mr. and Mrs. A. Clements, are you all here? Anyone recognise this card?
Hi, Christy.
Is! Want me to read it? Right, is there any other smart arses in front of you? I'll have to read this out as well. No! Oh, on your wedding day. Yeah, we're here.
It's not on the chair, I had to put some there.
Andy, Jane. I can't read this. May you live happily ever after. With love and all our very best, John and Christy. Anyone? Anyone want to take ownership of that one?
BT.
Oh, nice. Nice. Now you're ready, you can really give something that. Oh, I don't know. Enjoy that dirty dancing. Love, Tony G! Jesus. Yeah, I know. Anyone else? This had better be from far away.
They're right there. Tony and Jane, stand up.
This is just like surprise, surprise, you tell, isn't it? And then it comes, Graham! No, it's not. On your wedding day, wishing you both a lifetime of happiness together, with love. Congratulations to both on your special day. To the Clemontes. With love and best wishes. Christ, these war and pieces written here. Can they not just a bloody flight? Right. Sorry, can't be there with you in your special day, but we weren't invited. You didn't really put that, I just had to. Sorry, can't be there on your special day. I'll make sure I'll make it to the next one. Have an amazing day, and I'll call over the evening. I'm sure by then I'll have had a few celebratory drinks for you. All the best for your future. Loads of love, Graham and Scott. Have a good weekend. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the rest of your night. It's been a great day so far, and I think it's going to be a brilliant evening.
I'm not doing a speech. Somebody has got me up here. Literally, I didn't know. Thank God. That's the better way. I've enjoyed my meal, and I thought, no speech. I'll enjoy an even bigger meal. Right here with Neil. These two have made my life for a long time. They are a marvellous couple. I'm not quite sure what I'm returning to, whether I'm doing the bridesmaids or whatever. I think that Greg's done a marvellous job of that already. Absolutely marvellous job. All I'm going to say, in fact, is to say, first of all, thank you to Greg. Because this